virtual family.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Sacred Space.
Sacred Space. It's so sacred and special that we haven't been here in a while.
Right?
We are your hosts. I'm Diana.
And I am the Rev Raw.
Rev Raw. Every time you say that, I want to get you some blinged out pentagram to rock out Flavor Flav, like a clock or something, a pentagram clock.
That'd be hilarious.
Right?
I've been looking at these nails that are on Amazon that are these black Swarovski crystals.
Very kitty.
But anyway, welcome to today's episode. It's actually a special episode.
Special kind of episode. These are all kind of special.
Right? Well, this one I feel like is tugging on our heartstrings already.
Oh, it's tugging on something deep.
Now, do you want to lead us into it? Or?
So, we're Happy Maybon 2018.
Happy Maybon.
Hashtag gratitude. So, we're coming out of Gratitude Moon, and it is Harvest Moon. And the original intent was, let's talk about, the harvest and everything that's going on. However, what is actively happening in our world, albeit we're very grateful for everything in our lives and for the things that we are reaping from the things we've sown, the whole immediate climate of the sexual perversity and the dismissiveness of sexual crimes is just, it's weighing heavy on us both.
Yes. As we were mentioning, we basically had a pre-combo before we started recording today, and talking about listening to the interview or what's happening today with Kavanaugh.
The
hearing, thank you, with Dr. Ford, and just having feelings about it, because, looking at people who are currently or who have been victims and are survivors of sexual assault, sexual harassment, there's just this feeling that I know for myself of helplessness, because we've been raised in this culture and we've been taught that it's okay.
Yeah, and it's not something that's been expressly said, it's okay, Timmy, to go rape this girl. It's nothing like that. It's the whole undertone, it's the underbelly of this beast, because it's so pervasive. Much like you understand that you're going to go to a family gathering and, Aunt whomever is going to be snockered again, and that's just kind of taken as a family norm.
Yes.
Sexual perversion, sexual assault, I feel, has kind of been that way for way too long a fucking time. It's disgusting. We were sharing earlier how we're grateful to for the most part, we did come out unscathed of certain life events growing up. But I remember, going to certain parties and the attitude about the activities that take place in certain circles, and how things are just expected, and how women are expected to behave a certain way and to allow certain things to happen to them because that's the way it is, and people, women will get ridiculed and shamed and made feel stupid for being a prude, for not thinking it's cool to get locked in a closet to get gangbanged by randos. Just grotesque shit that stays with you forever.
And that's the thing, because, listening to some of the testimony and hearing some of the allegations that have been made, there are different folks that are saying different things have happened. Whereas, for Kavanaugh, I think, and I may be a little bit wrong on this, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the recent allegations was that, I forget the woman's name.
Because there's 3 women now.
Yes. I'm talking about the third one.
She, I believe her allegation was that they were also at a party, was it?
Yes.
And he laid on top of her, something to that effect. I don't know much about her story.
The part that I'm talking about is basically she had walked in, I think she had either walked into the room or was being brought into a room where she saw the line of guys basically waiting to have their turn as they had brought girls into that other room.
No, I did not know that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like this is a culture where we're raised in. I can't say, how many times as a kid growing up, I remember hearing the stories about girls getting gangbanged in bathrooms. So they had to be careful, when they're walking home from school or whatever, because they didn't want to get caught. Yeah. Or that, and I know that this is going to be unpopular with folks, but about the young women who were sent out as recruiters, who would get these other young girls and take them into these locations where they could get caught up as a part of a gang initiation. And I think, who are we?
And not just gang initiation. And I'd like to throw this in here before we continue. And I'm pretty confident that there are a decent number of you listening that are thinking, that's stupid. If I was in a party and that was happening, I would leave. That is awesome for you. That is awesome for you. However, the reality for a lot of us is it was either not known in the beginning, or you want to fit in and then you just hope and pray that this event will be different because it's a different set of people, only to realize that the circumstances are the same. It's just the living room walls that have changed.
Right. And we also don't want to slut shame.
You don't want to slut shame? Exactly. And then there's part of you that thinks, well, is this what you're supposed to do? Like, I want to keep hanging out with these people like this. This is just what you do. Even though I feel disgusting and I want to, like, bleach my insides when we're done, there's just so many layers to the mental fucked up onion that all of this creates.
Yes.
When you see, when you're at home and there's family events and somebody gets handsy with your parents.
Yes.
And you see that go on, you just figure, well, I guess this is kind of the thing, and so alcohol is what is missing here. There's just so many things. So I say to you, whomever's listening who thinks you're stupid, you're dumb, you need to get away, you should have reported it. Kudos to you for being that person. Kudos to you for having the forethought to walk away, to notify the authorities, and to the rest of us who were caught up for a myriad of reasons, hugs to you, impulse of love to you. I am sorry for the shit that happened to you, and I love you.
And I would just second that, because ultimately, you do what you have to do to survive.
Yes, survival is key.
And if you're caught in a moment and you know that you have to do certain things just to be able to live another day, do what you have to do. There's no judgment here. Just deep love and sorrow for this event happening, but we hear you.
We hear you.
And we do love you.
I feel so bad for every gender, everyone involved during this time, because of course we're going to hear a lot of the rhetoric, the super extreme, I can't be in the same room with somebody of the opposite gender if they're hot. Like, that's ridiculous. And, the whole set of people that think that this is a lie because, we're not just all of the different extremes that are going to be heard from this. I would like to see our men fucking stand up right now. We need our men. We need our men to fucking lead. And it's not that women haven't been, but it is primarily the men that are causing these atrocities. We have to be honest about that. Yes, women do rape. That's not being negated. But right now, the way that history has been for way too long a time, it is males, it is the male gender that has caused a lot of physical, sexual harm.
Yes.
And we need our outstanding men to go out there and protect their daughters, their sisters, their mothers, even if they are just cosmic sisters. Be a positive example for the male race, so when you're at work and you see that coworker casually smack the new young girl in the ass, for you to say, that's not fucking cool, dude. He may not be a lecherous weirdo who's going to rape this girl in the bathroom, nothing like that. I actually just had this happen at work a couple of months ago. One of our senior staff members, we have a new young girl, she's all of 19, she's not even old enough to drink. He comes in, all jovial, hey girl, what's up? Smacks her in the ass and walks on by. And her attitude was kind of like, she just kind of like laughed it off like no big deal. And I have seen that same person and others do the same thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Other senior staff members, and some of them are just like, oh, you know it, boo, smack that ass. Like I get it. Like, and if that's your thing, then you do that shit away from fucking work.
Yeah, because this ain't the 1950s.
Exactly. And it goes both ways. I have seen female staff members who will come up and massage men's shoulders and press their breasts up against their neck. Ooh, you like that, don't you? Chuckle, chuckle. Everything's funny. And it doesn't go past that. But what kind of fucking culture are you creating? This 19-year-old, this is her first fucking job. You're literally showing her by your example that, you know what? It's kind of cool for you to get your ass smacked now and then. Fuck that shit. You're teaching them that for you to get the shift you want, all you have to do is press your tits up against your lead's neck and laugh at his tragic jokes. Fuck that shit. A whole mind shift needs to happen. And I'm grateful for all of these conversations that are coming up because people are angry, rightfully so. So this is our time to stand up and say, this is my body and you will not touch it without consent.
Yes. Now, I do not want to detract from our current conversation, but I do also want to lift up for our LGBT folks that, you know, we as well, you know, sometimes suffer or are victims to sexual harassment and sexual assault. And, you know, again, we love you. We hear you as well. But I don't want to take away from the moments right now because women need our voices. And I'm speaking specifically about male identified and assigned at birth. So both of those categories for those folks to really, again, mimic what Diana said and stand up and speak out and say something, write something, just be vocal. Let folks know that we're here to support and that we're not going to let this shit keep happening.
No. And your story does matter.
Yes.
Your story matters. That thing that kept you up at night, that thing that makes you question your gut, that thing that makes you insecure, that thing that makes you do whatever, overeat, undereat, whatever that thing is, we hear you. And your story does matter. On a side note, I honestly kind of have always felt that the gay community has had it as bad as female assigned because that mentality of, you know, oh, you want it. You know, you're somehow different, so you want it. You know, if a male gets raped by another male, what's the problem? You're a fag, aren't you? You know, that whole bullshit mind fuck. And that is so horrific. When the cis kids get raped by a male, and then, you know, they're raised in a culture where, you know, it's bad to be a homo, where it's and then you spend quite a bit of your time questioning what the fuck your identity is. Yes. What does this mean because this thing has happened to me?
Yes.
And then later in life, sometimes, again, because of whatever thing that happened to you, you can't help but, you know, your being wants to lash out somehow. It wants to cry out. And sometimes it takes the role, it manifests as another sexual perversion against someone else.
Yes. I don't know if you've seen the recent movement that's happening on Twitter, the Why I Didn't Report.
Yes, I just posted on that.
Oh. And it's really blown my mind, just the amount of people that have come forward and have said something. And there were men that were on there that have not grown up to end up being a part of the LGBT community, but they're saying how they have been impacted by other men and what that felt like. Yeah. And they're telling their stories as well.
That's a beautiful thing.
You know, we need to see that. We need to know that these things may have impacted you as a child, but you're surviving.
Yes. And it does get better. As trite as it sounds, it's not, you know, what is it? Thoughts and prayers. It's not thoughts and prayers. It's genuinely, you get stronger.
Yes.
You survive, and through that survival, you become stronger.
Yes.
And you're able to not just speak your truth, but you're able to help others speak their truth, or at the very least, hold space for somebody who needs to speak their truth. it would be wonderful if everyone who went through an experience was able to go out there and advocate. But you know what? Sometimes it's just too visceral. You can't. You do what you can, and holding space for someone who's in a vulnerable state, that is tremendous.
Yes, I agree. Speaking of holding space, let's hold some space right now. We're going to give you all a moment or two of silence where we're holding the space for you, for those that are survivors, for those who have been able to go on, and for those that have not survived this long.
For those who are survivors, because they were victims of assault and have also repeated that cycle and are working hard to break it. So, as passionate as we both feel about this particular topic, today's episode is actually going to be a short, just because we spent a lot of time talking without the mics on.
And that happens.
And that happens, and that's okay. We go with the flow. But this is our time to speak up. Just reflecting back, and it won't be long. When Me Too began, when that really gained momentum, I had posted on it, and I did my thing, and then I made mention of males, and there was a male on my Facebook page who came on and was like, "Hey, thank you," because I thought this only applied to women. And that broke my heart. And it's like, no, your story matters, which is what we just said. So please, whatever you identify with, even if you don't identify,
yes,
your story matters, and we hear you.
So, our beloveds, we thank you for coming in for a while to hear us go on our little rant.
Pick up some social rage.
Yes.
Social rage.
Oh.
Pick up a chair. Throw it.
So.
Be the example.
Yes.
Be the example.
And we do not really advocate for picking up chairs and
we
throwing
don't really,
them.
Yeah, not at all.
No lawsuits here.
No lawsuits.
Do not try this at home.
Do not try this at home. But definitely advocate for yourself at home and anywhere you are.
And
in a healthy way.
Yes. Well, and the last thing I want to put out there, and this is something that we brought up a little bit beforehand, is if you're in a situation and you see that someone needs help. Help. Yeah, help. Crowd mentality is so terrifying. Come on, anybody with cable and has watched Discovery ID, we've all seen the Murder Channel. Yes. And
we see how it just takes one person to be super fueled and super pumped, and then everybody becoming afraid to go against this one person. So instead of going against the one person to prevent them from doing something damaging, they fucking join in and do horrible shit. Let's not hurt anyone. Jump in. There's two of you. The person that's getting attacked doesn't want to be attacked.
Right.
Join that crowd.
Yes.
And speak up and say no.
Yes.
You don't have a smartphone? 911. You know the drill.
Right.
Hold the finger on that last one.
Oh.
How many times?
Right.
Because it's reality. It's our current reality. And we do the things that we do to change that reality so that our children and our children's children will look back and say, can you imagine living in a world where you have to have 911 at the super ready? I'm looking forward to that day.
And last but not least, before we go, I also want to throw this out there. Don't forget, midterm elections are coming up. So if you have not already registered to vote, register to vote.
Do it. Do it. Educate yourselves. Remember that your voice does matter. My God, does your voice matter? I think that during the last election in 2018, we got a little too comfortable. And this is where we are.
And this is where we are. So with that, we wrap up the show again.
Oh, we love you.
We love you. Thank you for tuning in for this episode.
We appreciate you.
Although it's small and mighty.
Small and mighty.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you use it.
But until we meet again, blessed be.
Blessed be.
And enjoy your week.